Well, I backed the wrong conceptual horse last week. So last week I actually did want to see this last week. I did, but timing didn't work out. But because I did have some free time yesterday, my car's in the shop, so I had to spend I work basically in a mall. I work at a PetSmart. I've already said that. I work at PetSmart, which is attached to my local mall. And I'm just gonna clean the camera up a little bit here. There we go. Oh yeah, it's a little bit better. But I had 4 hours before my father could come and give me a ride back to the house. Um, so I'm like, okay, I got some time to kill. Let me see if I can see a showing of anything I haven't seen yet. And I'm like, Big Bull Bueller Journey, perfectly timed. So I'm like, okay. And let me tell you, is this movie perfect? No. Is this going to be my favorite movie of the year? No. Is it getting better reviews than him? Barely. But is this a vastly better movie than him? Oh, 1001% it is. This movie, compared to him, this movie is an Oscar winner. And I don't want to keep making that comparison all the time. My review for him is that I did not like him. I liked aspects of him, and Marlon Wayne's performance is great, but comparatively, this is night and day. The story follows, and give me 1 second here. Two people, David and Sarah, played by Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell. They both end up renting cars from this car rental agency, which has both Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Kevin Kline there, which I wasn't expecting either of those two. So that was a fun little bit. And obviously, you already know something's odd about this place, absolutely, but whatever. And immediately, and they both end up at the same wedding. They meet. It's kind of awkward, and they're all standoffish. And their GPS says, "You want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey." So they meet and they go on a road trip together, more or less. And they find these doors that take them back into the past, and relive memories about why they became the way they are, why they're lonely, why they're not happy, all that. And it's a concept we have seen done before. Honestly, the one that comes to mind the most is if you took that scene, for any of you Trekkies out there, from Star Trek V. I can't remember actually what Star Trek V is called. It's The Voyage Home is the fourth one. The Undiscovered Country. Is it To Boldly Go? Is that what no, that's not the right one. I can't remember what Star Trek V is actually called. But if you took that scene where Spock's half brother, is showing them the scenes of their pain, their greatest moments, and why it defined them, and turn that concept into a movie, because it really is. It's a series of scenes going through doors, just like it's a series of moments in that scene in Star Trek. That's what it is. And let me get out of the way the stuff I didn't like about the movie. There are it's not completely always 100% of the time. There are some poignant lines. There is some good dialogue in it. There legitimately is. And I'm not saying it even takes up the majority, but there is some very, very basic surface level character dialogue in this. There's a line where he talks about I just couldn't feel anything being up here. It's oh, that bullshit. It could be, how many times have you rehearsed that line? What about the hurting yourself line? That was really rehearsed. It's that's kind of what some of these, they feel it feels like something I could have written, honestly. I've written a couple stories for friends before. I feel like I probably would have been able to write this, if not maybe write a little bit better than some of the lines. It's not all bad, but there's just some very basic, when you're definitely doing some self-reflection with each other, it does get a little basic. That's the best way I can describe it. It's okay, you aren't really finding a way to be a bit more creative with this. And the TV is currently reflecting in my glasses right now. Woo! You aren't finding a more creative way to express this. I mean, it's serviceable. It's just not interesting. Also, and this one is a straight out complaint, even from me, who enjoyed the movie overall. I did enjoy the movie. Believe it or not, at an hour and 9 minutes, that means it's an hour and 49 minutes long. It's about 20 minutes too long. And like legitimately, like I am like legitimately surprised by the fact that it feels this long when it's really not even 2 hours long. That's the weird thing. And I think it comes down to pacing. This movie is dragging its feet a little bit. Like in the first half, like it's really not, because we're starting the journey, all that. But as the journey keeps going and we keep doing things like this over and over and over again, it's like, well, what's our final destination here? What are we? Where are we going with this? And like the final result is it's a sweet little, it's a nice little result, but unfortunately, because we're kind of just not dragging our feet, just taking too much of our time. Yeah, dragging the feet. I wouldn't say we're dragging your feet. We're just taking our time too much. Which maybe it is dragging, if you want to call that dragging your feet. I guess it does sound like dragging your feet, but it's just, it feels like it goes on just forever for a little bit. And when it's really not. It's just the pacing of the film isn't really matching the style of the film. That's really what it comes down to. The style of the film, the storytelling itself isn't bad. It's the pacing that they're doing it at doesn't work. Beyond that, they also aren't really, in that granted, they don't need to explain the rules of this world, but they're not actually explaining the rules of what's actually going on. Who are these people, the car rental agency? They clearly know something, but they don't want to tell people. They're like they're trying to help lost souls, clearly. But who are they? What are they actually doing? How are they doing it? And like Margot Robbie would say, that didn't just happen. Margot or Sarah? Sarah. You literally are taking things from the rooms you go in and bringing them into reality. It's happening. You hit a deer at one point in the movie. Its guts are like fake, like crochet or whatever. So it's all set. You're literally at one point go to the top of the hill and look at Earth, like you're sitting on the moon. It's like, I get, at some point the suspension of disbelief needs to like just go out the window here. Like it's like, okay, magic's real, magic's happening, deal with it. But for all that, and there are definitely things wrong with the movie. The crux of the movie is Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, them going together and working off each other. Which, will I say they have the greatest chemistry in the world? No, but I think that's actually kind of the point. Is that the chemistry builds as it goes on. They have an initial charm with each other, absolutely. And I'll admit, to go real quick, when they first meet, it's clearly someone trying to set someone up kind of scenario, and they're like, "No, I'm good. Yeah, no, we're just awkward." And by the way, that meeting with them outside, like on the porch, not porch, but just outside. Margot Robbie. I love Margot Robbie. I do. She's good in the film, but like that character she's playing, I'm like, don't start trying to be for charming. Like, I'm sorry, I was just making a joke, but if you'd like me to be a dick, I could. like I get it. She's been hurt, all that. Like clearly, they immediately feel an attraction to each other. Like they're both good-looking people. I mean, we get a shot of Colin Farrell with his shirt off, and the man is still in fantastic shape. What is Colin Farrell, like 50 something now? How old is Colin Farrell? That's a good question. Margot Robbie, I know, is hitting her 40s, but she's not 40. He's 40 now. He hasn't even hit 50 yet. Good for him. Margot Robbie, I want to say, is like 30 something, late 30s. She's 35. Okay, she's mid 30s. All right, that's fine. Yeah, see, this is not a love hurts scenario where the age gap is so large that I can't buy them together. Like Ariana DeBoise and Ke Quan. Love Ke Quan. He's fine in that movie, but they didn't have a single bit of chemistry, and I cannot buy a clear 20+ year age gap in with these characters. Whereas these characters, they're about 14 years apart. So you can, and honestly, Colin Farrell doesn't look 49, let's be honest. He looks more like early 40s, so that helps a lot too. So, excuse me. So they definitely can, I definitely feel like it can work with them, work with there. And as the film goes on and they're bonding and they have these moments together, the chemistry does start to slowly kind of come out. It does start to work. You do buy them kind of just being this awkward but attracted couple to each other. But the crux of it obviously is going through memories, going through rooms, and dealing with the pain and the trauma that turned you into who you are today. And can you grow past that? Can you grow beyond that? That's really what it is. I mean, maybe that's not what the moral they're intending is, but that's the moral I'm getting out of it is we aren't defined, but we are defined by the choices we make and our past, but we only can let the past define us if we let it define us. We can be happy if we want to be happy. We just have to want to be happy. We all and but her mom in one scene, because she goes back to visit her mom who passes away in the movie, and who passed away and she's been dead, but she goes back to visit her, and she asks the question of, or her mom brings up like, be content and find happiness in that contentment. It's actually you'll drive yourself mad trying to be happy. And honestly, when I heard that, like, that is a real good life philosophy. Because honestly, legit, that's kind of how I live. Like, I'm not trying to be happy. You can't try to be happy. You can go out and look for happiness, look for joy, look for things that make you happy, that don't fill you with depression, fill you with enjoyment of some kind. But at the end of the day, be content. And if you're content, you'll actually find a lot more happiness comes once you are in a place where you're like, I'm good. And then happiness can grow from there. I'm like, that was a really nice little piece of wisdom to throw in there. And I won't lie too, when she goes back to visit her mom, I was getting emotional. I wasn't like full on sobbing or anything like that, or even really getting teary-eyed, but I was getting choked up because I was thinking about, if I found these doors and I visited my mom, what I would say to her. But so yeah, someone who's lost his mom, I see with her and her mom. My mom didn't die of cancer; she died of complications from medication and thyroid, and very unfortunate. But point is, it's also one of those things too where it's whether or not they're actually in the past or not, like legitimately going to the past or not, is up for debate. It's because they're not changing their future per se. Like the future isn't altered in those scenarios. But it's also one of those things where the memory seems to be able to interact with them in a different way than it did previously. So, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. But yeah, I mean, all the scenes with them going back into the past and confronting everything are really good scenes. Like those are really good scenes. Even when the dialogue is a little shallow at points, it's still those are good scenes. And those are kind of like the things that are holding the movie together. And again, once we really start to kick off the Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell relationship, that also kicks off. That really starts to kind of work in the way it works. So is it a perfect movie? God, no. At 109 minutes, could it have been at least 10 minutes shorter? Yeah, it could have. I'm actually really shocked by the fact that it was only an hour and 49 minutes long. I'm really shocked by that. The movie probably could have been 10 minutes shorter, and I wouldn't have complained. Because it's just not paced right for the type of story they're telling, I think. It feels slow at points. It does. Is the writing shallow, basic at points? Yes, it is. Are there just things they're not explaining in the world? Yes, they are. For all that being said, though, I did have a good time with the movie. It's a nice, charming film. And it does go back to one of those more romantic not comedies, but romantic dramedies. That is one other thing I heard someone kind of, when I saw some reviews, bring up. there aren't a huge amount of laughs in the film. There's a couple nice worthy little chuckles to kind of help breathe a little bit, but it's not a comedy. That's for certain. At least I hope it's not, and I hope it's not listed as one either. What do we have for genre here? Romantic fantasy with some, yeah. If anything, it's got a little taste of What Dreams May Come kind of thrown in there. But so yeah, and just in very, very loose concept. If anything, it feels more like an anime than anything else. I know the fact that, hell, I know for a fact there's been animes where doors in a forest have been a thing and you go in there and you go into a different world. So I know for a fact that's, I'm not sure saying they took that idea from that. That idea has existed for God knows how long. The concept of doors to other places exist in like lore for like going hundreds of years back. But yeah, it does feel like an anime in that sense. Anyway, though, I mean, it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it for what it's worth. Real quick, trailers. Let me get the list of trailers up here. I don't think I got anything that's overly new for trailers, but I did get a new trailer for that movie After the Hunt with Andrew Garfield, Julia Roberts, and I can't remember the actress name. She's from The Bear. I'm really interested to see that movie. I'm really interested to see that movie because I'm not certain what the end all be all of that movie is going to end up being. I am very intrigued to see where they're going to go with that concept. Because if you don't know the idea of the movie, I think it's actually based off a book, if I'm not mistaken. The idea is Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield are professors in a college, and there's a student there. And she's like one of Julia Roberts' favorites because she kind of like throws accolades at her. Well, she claims that Andrew Garfield like went over the line. He pushed he did something inappropriate. But what he did, if he did it, so far in the trailer, isn't made clear. And he then says, no, I claimed her of plagiarizing a story. And it's the idea of, is she telling the truth? Or is he telling the truth? Is she telling the truth? Did he go over the line? Or is she actually manipulating the whole idea of the Me Too movement, basically? And there's that great line. Look, and I'm not going to say whether I lean one side of the fence or other on that. I think there actually is a very firm middle ground in that concept. Like the Me Too movement it was actually a good thing, but there were people who abused it. And the idea also of her being more like I think she's supposed to be like a Gen Z. That line at the end, I actually really liked, where, not this trailer, but the first trailer, where she goes, I'm really not comfortable talking to you about this anymore. And she just leans in and goes, not everything you talk about, or not everything we talk about is supposed to make you comfortable. Yeah, not everything is supposed to make you comfortable. Like, there's the whole concept of safe areas. Like, look, I respect the idea of safe areas. I do. Like, there should be a place people feel comfortable. But she's not wrong. Not everything in this world is supposed to be safe and comfortable. You do have to confront realities and things you don't want to talk about. So I'm actually really intrigued to see that movie. Otherwise, other trailer, yeah, After the Hunt. That comes out the 17th. Oh, that comes out the same weekend as Black Phone. Ooh, okay. Oh, and Good Fortune. Oh, I'm going to have a smorgasbord on the 17th to watch. Speaking of which, we got the trailer for Black Phone 2 again. No, did we? No, we didn't get that. Why would we got attached to this? Looking forward to Black Phone 2, though. Didn't get Good Fortune, though I am looking forward to that. If I had legs, I'd kick you. What the hell is that? I didn't get this trailer, by the way. I'm just seeing this. Like, what the hell is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You? Linda is dealing with several challenges, including her child's mysterious illness, her absent husband, a missing person, and a strained relationship with her therapist. Okay. Is she paraplegic? Like, is she missing legs? I don't know why it's called that. It's probably based on the book or something. Then we got Springsteen. Still didn't get that. I didn't get that trailer. What trailers did I get besides After the Hunt? Anything coming out soon? We got Anaconda. I don't know why Anaconda was attached to this, but hell, I'm just fine with it. The Running, nope. didn't get the new trailer. I have seen the new trailer for Wicked for Good. Damn, that looks good. The Thing with Feathers. Wait, The Thing with Feathers. What? Oh, it's an adaptation. It's like I'm looking at this now. We actually didn't get. Oh, The Housemaid. Okay, that one I do remember that one with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. Apparently, it is based on a book. Let me see if I can get the actual plot up here real quick. Because it's like a psychological thriller. But okay, directed by Paul Feig, or Feige. I think it's Feig. The film plunged audience in a twisted world where perfection is an illusion and nothing is as it seems. Trying to escape her past, Millie Sweeney accepts a job as living housemaid for the wealthy Nina and Andrew Winchester. But what begins as a dream job quickly unravels into something far more dangerous, a sexy, seductive game of secrets, scandals, power. Behind the Winchester's closed doors lies a world of shocking twists that will leave you guessing until the very end. I mean, yeah, I gathered pretty much all that. One of them is probably more insane than the other or whatnot. I can't remember any of the other Oh, wait a minute. That one with Margot Robbie, it's like, I can't remember the century. Something Wither Hills or something like that. And it does occur to me now that we're going into October, we will be getting more trailers for movies coming out next year. So 1 second, let me get next year's schedule out if I can remember anything coming out next year that we got a trailer for. Didn't get anything horror based, so that's a no go. Let's see here: Greenland 2, Soulmate, Primate, Mutiny, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Charlie Wonder Dog, Turn to Silent Hill. Well, January next year looks like it might actually have some bite for a change. Wuthering Heights, that's what it's called. Okay. Otherwise, yeah. Oh, nope. We did not get the trailer for it, but the trailer did drop for The Bride. An interesting idea, to say the least. Otherwise, yeah, didn't really get anything else for the trailers. I mean, we did, but I just can't remember them. I still haven't remembered to bring my little black trailer write-down book with me. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. What did you think of the movie? If you've seen it, if you haven't yet, let me know if you're going to see it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.